Welcome back to UK Knowledge Guru. In this video, I will explain you everything about authorizing officer for the sponsor license. This video is especially for those people who get asked by their friends and family members to be an authorizing officer and they don't know the responsibilities and consequences if they not doing it right. So let's start with the first question. What is an authorizing officer? An authorizing officer plays an important role in the context of the UK sponsor license system, acting as the main point of contact between the sponsoring organization and the UK visa and immigration. Who can be an authorizing officer? The authorizing officer must be the most senior person within your organization that is responsible for recruitment of all migrant workers and ensuring that all of your sponsor license duties are met, provided you are approved for a sponsor license. Let's take another question. Do I need to pay authorizing officer? The answer is yes. The authorizing officer and initial level 1 user must be paid director, employee or office holder of the UK entity at the date of the application. So the date you applying the application, make sure before that they are on your pay run. They must be either paid member of the staff or office holder that is permanently based in the UK for the time period that they will fill the key person role which they have been appointed to. The only exception to this rule is if you are applying for UK expansion worker visa, where you can appoint an overseas worker as an authorizing officer if you do not have a suitable staff based in the UK to fill this role. However, the authorizing officer must be granted entry clearance for the purpose of work on the UK expansion of your business. Many applicants get confused between the statement because this statement is for the UK expansion worker visa. It's not for the UK skilled worker visa if you are in the UK and switching from skilled worker by self-sponsoring yourself. Let's take another question. Who cannot be an authorizing officer? As per Home Office guidance, authorizing officer must not have any unspent criminal conviction for a relevant offences, nor a history of non-compliance with sponsor requirement. Authorizing officer must also not be guilty of any previous immigration violation. Authorizing officer must also not have been a key person with the sponsor that had its license revoked in the last 12 months or have been fined in the past 12 months, have been reported by UK VI for non-compliance or be illegally prohibited from being a company director or cannot be the subject of to bankruptcy, or the authorizing officer must also not have failed to pay VAT. Let's take another question. What are my duties and responsibilities as an authorizing officer? We will discuss this in detail because this is one of the most important things, and I wanted to highlight this because people who are becoming an authorizing officer without knowing their responsibilities, like your friend ask you to become one and you just say, okay, I will, because I'm a British citizen, I'll become a authorizing officer. So you should know this. The authorizing officer will be the individual with overall responsibility for the recruitment of migrant workers within the organization applying for sponsor license and for ensuring that the duties placed on the sponsoring organization are met. This will include monitoring migrant workers, keeping records and reporting any relevant changes. The authorizing officer will also be responsible for the activities of each individual using the sponsorship management system. There is a complete guidance on my channel regarding the sponsorship management system, how to apply level 1 user, how to change the sponsorship management system, how to do the troubleshoot on that, how to change the setting on that. So there is a loads of videos on my channel on the sponsorship management system. Do watch them. The sponsorship management system is the Home Office portal that allows authorized user to administrator day-to-day sponsor duties and activities, including, for example, assigning certificate of sponsorship to migrant workers. Let's take another question. Does an authorizing officer have access to the SMS? The authorizing officer will not automatically have access to SMS on the grant of the sponsor license, not unless they have also been appointed as a SMS level 1 user. If the authorizing officer has not been named as the initial SMS level 1 user within the license application, but they would like to have access to the SMS, they will need to be added as either an SMS level 1 or level 2 user once the application has been approved. So you will apply for the sponsor license. Once your sponsor license is approved, you need to give access to SMS system to your authorizing officer. Let's take another question. I got sponsor license and skilled worker visa and I don't want to pay authorizing officer anymore. Can I fire him? The simple answer is no. You must have an authorizing officer in place throughout the life of your license. This means that if your appointed officer is leaving the business, you must find a replacement. Let's take another question. My authorizing officer hired someone who got fake degrees. What will happen? As per Home Office guidance, where your authorizing officer or those for whom activities they are responsible have failed to conduct prescribed right to work checks and you are found to be employing illegal workers, this could also result in a civil penalty. Let's take another question. How much is the civil penalty? If you employ someone without the right to undertake work in the UK or to do the job role on offer, you may incur a civil penalty as much as 45,000 per illegal worker for the first breach and up to 60,000 pounds for repeat breaches. You may be liable to pay a civil penalty for illegal working if you have failed to conduct a right to check work, either correctly or at all. It could also be either where you have carried out a check but you knew that the documentation was not genuine. This did not rightfully belong to the employee or the work on offer was not permitted. In addition to the significant financial breaches, employers found to be in breaches of their duties could face criminal prosecution. Let's take another question. How do I change my authorizing officer on SMS system? To change your authorizing officer on the sponsorship management system, an authorized SMS level 1 user must access the online system, navigating the request changes to license detail. You click on that button. After that, you select replace your authorizing officer before providing relevant details. Next question is, can authorizing officer be level 1 user? Yes. An authorizing officer can also be appointed as a level 1 user, either if they are nominated in the sponsor license application as the initial level 1 user or added as a level 1 user once their application is granted. Let's take next question. What are the core basic jobs I have to do as an authorizing officer? The 4 most important jobs are recruitment of migrant workers, sponsor duties, day-to-day management, everything, monitoring and reporting to Home Office and preparing all the documents, SMS management system. So you need to check the emails, you need to check what are the communications provided by the Home Office, what updates they want, what documents they want, etc. etc. Let's take next question. Who applies sponsor license? Authorizing officer or the director? To answer this question, we will go to gov.uk website where we have the guidance for the authorizing officer. As per L4.19, when you apply for a license, you must appoint an authorizing officer. This means that the director or the company owner, the key person, will apply for sponsor license and you will appoint an authorizing officer. So authorizing officer is not the one who will apply for a sponsor license. There's too much confusion in that. It's because of some YouTube videos. So I just wanted to clarify by providing you the proof. So this what is this document? So let me show you this document. I'll discuss a little bit on this document so you all know where the information is coming from. So any information you need, you must have a source of it. Without the source, do not trust that. So this is workers and temporary workers guidance for sponsors. It's provided by the Home Office, and it's in, like, they have the versions over here. So this is 66 pages. I have created a separate video on this. If you watch this video in which I have showed how to apply UK sponsor license guidance, in this video I have showed this whole guidance in detail. But in today's video, I will pick up the main important part which we are discussing. So if I go over here and look for the authorizing officer, so this is like a long list. Yeah. So let's go down. There you go. So L4 is key personnel. Let me zoom in this. Each of your key personnel must. So today we are discussing authorizing officer. In this guidance, you have key contact, level 1 user, level 2 user. The most important guidance you need to know is authorizing officer. So we will read it a little bit so you know what are we discussing, where the information source is coming from. Each of your key personnel must be based in the UK for the period they fill in the role you have appointed them to. There is an exception to this requirement on the UK. When we talk about exception, we are talking about UK expansion worker visa, the one which we just discussed. Expansion worker route where the authorizing officer may be based overseas. So we just discussed this in one of the questions. Okay. So this is where the data is coming from, the source is coming from. Be paid member of your staff or engaged by you as an office holder. So like a director, office holder, that's what it means. Yeah. Unless one of the following exception applies. Again, there is an exception. Okay. So 1, 2, 3. We are discussing 3 exceptions now. A level 1 or level 2 user can be an employee of a third party organization to whom you have contracted some or all of your human resources function. However, we will reject your application if you do not have at least one level 1 user who is an employee, partner or director in your organization. So I will show you a video as well, like another picture, like, where they are misguiding people, that you can buy people, you can hire people. So that's where the confusion comes in. So in fact, I'll show you just now. So go online on Google and write authorizing officer jobs and you will get these posts. Part-time authorizing officer, COS, skilled worker compliance. So you can see these jobs. Yeah, these are the jobs showing up. So let's see this job. Part-time authorizing officer, COS, skilled worker compliance. We are seeking a skilled and experienced part-time authorizing officer to join our team. The work is likely to be only 1 or 2 days a month, flexible including evenings and weekends to start, but increasing over time. So basically what they are doing, they are hiring people and they want you to become a authorizing officer. So it clearly says proven experience as an authorizing officer or similar role within the immigration industry, in-depth knowledge of UK immigration laws, procedures, strong understanding of certificate of sponsorship and skilled worker visa, etc, etc. So this is, and how much they are paying, if I show you, that's 20 and 50 pound an hour. So this is how it's going on just now. So make sure when you you just can't hire anyone as an authorizing officer. You can't do that. There will be loads of consequences. So I won't recommend that. Let's go back to guidance. A level 2 user can be a member of staff supplied to you but employed by an employment agency. But that's level 2 user, guys. It cannot be level 1 user. You should know the difference. Okay. If you don't know the difference, do watch my video, how to apply sponsor license. I have showed this difference. Third exception, an overarching sponsored license under government authorized exchange. This is a total separate thing. Okay. So don't assume that this is for you. Can appoint level 2 user with the individual organization taking part in the exchange program. These are government authorized exchange program. They are total different. So we are talking about this one for you. Okay. Okay. Now let's discuss few more things over here. L4.4, none of your key personnel can be a representative who is not based in the UK. Recently someone asked that question on my video, that I'm in Malaysia and I want to sponsor someone, apply sponsor license. No, you can't do that because he wanted to bring his wife over here. So that's you because you are not based in the UK, you can't do that. A contractor or consultant who is contracted for a specific project. It means none of your key person. Okay, so contractor, for example, people ask me to become a sponsor license like authorizing officer. I can't become because it's not a contract. It has to be a paid employee of your company, subject to a bankruptcy restriction. Okay, that's another thing. Subject to debt relief restriction, legally prohibited from being a company director. So obviously someone who didn't pay the tax or VAT, etc., cannot be. Further, L4.5 says you must name your authorizing officer, key contact and level 1 user on your sponsor license application form. These roles can be filled by the same person or combined of different people. There can be only one authorizing officer and one key contact. Okay, that's further guidance for it. Okay, I have already read this. The only exception, this is where you will apply bringing sponsor license. Okay, let me read this another part. This is a very common question. Can I sponsor my brother? Can I sponsor my sister, etc.? Subject to those exceptions below, SMS user must not assign COS to themselves or to close relative or partner. So you cannot assign COS to yourself. So you become a director, you apply for sponsor license, you cannot do that. Okay, or to close relatives. So relatives means like if you have friend or someone and you're doing it, it clearly say, the guidance clearly say over here. Okay, a close relative or partner. See this word or. So it includes, so if you mentioning on your license application, because one of the license recently got rejected, COS got rejected because they said that he's my friend, I know him for 20 years and I want him to work with me again. No, you can't do that. A close relative or partner, it says or. So close relative or is a spouse or civil partner, unmarried or same-sex partner, a parent or step-parent, a son, stepson, daughter, brother, sister, nephew, uncle, father-in-law. So you cannot assign to any one of them. Okay, this is what the clear guidance says. The sponsor license COS must not be created for your easiness purpose. Okay, now this is the guidance for key person eligibility and description, authorizing officer, L4.19. When you apply authorizing officer, you must appoint an authorizing officer. Okay, you are responsible for the actions of the sponsor or for the authorizing officer. You should ensure you are confident that they understand fully the importance of this role. So when you hiring an authorizing officer, like we just discussed, if authorizing officer wanted to do illegal stuff in your company, you are responsible. And I'll show you many places where it says, if they fail to do this, we will take action against you. See that? So if this authorizing officer failed, they will take action against you because you are the company director. It's your company. Again, we recommend that authorizing officer checks the COS assigned to workers at least once a month. So if anything is going wrong, they will check and you make sure that the authorizing officer is doing their job. So you have your own responsibility. If you fail to have an authorizing officer in place who meets our requirement, or you fail to tell us what change in authorizing officer, we will take action against you. See that? So I have already discussed what actions we are talking about in my other videos as well. In this video, the level 1 user can be the same person as an authorizing officer or be another person in your organization. So usually the best idea is authorizing officer, level 1, both are the same people. It helps. How do they check? They check police national computer to know that this is like you don't have any criminal conviction or anything. You must not be of the following: a contractor, a consultant who is contracted for the specific project, a temporary staff member supplied to you by an employment agency, an undischarged bankrupt. So this is the guidance it says over here. So if you need this guidance, I can provide you the link. The link are in my description anyway, so you can download them.